Hello and welcome to another update video about Cardano. In this video we're going to cover what is happening on the Cardano chart and what is happening with Bitcoin, and we won't lose much time. I won't spend too much time on Bitcoin, and on the surface it looks like not much has happened, but I think there have been a few interesting developments on both the Cardano chart and the Bitcoin chart. So let's start with Bitcoin on the daily here. Prices come from Coinbase. Bitcoin has broken out of that pattern now that we took a look at. First of all, it looked like a bit like a triangle, like a rectangle pattern, trend continuation. Then it became something like a ascending wedge, and we can take a look at that on the shorter term time frames. But we have broken out and we have touched that resistance area that I had on the charts for a while now. It's exactly here at the 57,000 mark, where other resistance levels are now starting, and this is where the bulls now need to push through. I expect we could actually go through it and then have some more resistance at the higher levels at around 63k up here. You know, it still could be that we are still in a corrective phase, that this is still a upcoming B correction, you know, based on the Elliott Wave method or theory. You come down in a wave A, and then you go up in a wave B and come down once more, even further down in a wave C. I want to mention this is still a possibility because this does not look like a typical uptrend. I just want to mention it, and it looks like an ABC structure. Okay, I just want to mention it, and it is still a possibility. So theoretically, we could still get up to the all-time high level, and from then correct down. That is a possibility. So I will get more and more careful the higher we go, right? And let's see, it's just a possibility, but looking good at the moment in the short term. You know, we've broken that out of that pattern, and we're going to have a look at the hourly chart before we go back to Cardano. And I did say that I expect further short-term price increases and a breakout above that pattern. That happened. We have touched that resistance area. You can see it very clearly on the hourly chart. We are now touching back that support level, retesting it, you know, flipping it hopefully successfully as support, and from then on we could get into this yellow box. So we're going to track that here going forward, looking okay at the moment. Looking at the Cardano chart, I had on the chart here this ascending triangle, and the more we are developing going forward, it looks more like a symmetrical triangle, right? And that's what sometimes happens. These, you know, these transform, these shape, reshape, and so on. And we just need to react to what the market is doing. So you have that higher high here, or actually not a higher, it was a lower high here. And now we're forming even lower highs. And that is actually a good sign, because in my view, what that could indicate is that we get to the apex even quicker. You know, on this chart here, we have the apex somewhere at around the 20th, 21st of October. But if we change that here a little bit, because we want to have a valid triangle with valid touch points. So we could have something more like that in my view, right? Where you have touch points here, down here, 1, 2, and 3 touch points now on that ascending trend line. And then you've got these touch points here, and you've got touch points here. Alternatively, possibly something like that would be possible, but then we would be touching those bodies here. We would cut through them. I don't really like that, but it's probably more something like that here, where we have a lot of touch points up here. And in the end, it doesn't matter too much. It is still a triangle pattern, and we are moving into an apex here. But that could indicate that in the next few days we will see a breakout here. And if you remember, we talked about the possible similarities between this chart here and the phantom chart. And let me just put that onto the screen again. Phantom. And again, I'm not saying it needs to happen the same way, but there are these similarities where on the Cardano chart, we're currently in this structure here pretty much. And out of that, then we had phantom breaking out, going down once more, and then really moving up 95%. I'm not saying Cardano needs to move up 95% in that fashion. I don't think it will. Not in that linear fashion here like phantom did. But there is a possibility we could go a very similar way, because not that I directly want to compare phantom and Cardano, but a lot of these cryptos, and we could observe that in the last few weeks, a lot of the cryptos have been moving in very similar way. Like, you know, one of them started, the other way was following, and not all at the same time, but they were all breaking out of the pretty much very similar or the same patterns at different times, which made it not too difficult to make some nice profits. And I've been calling some of these breakouts before they happen, because that was in this current bull run, in this current alt season, it is very, very nicely observable, and not all of them have broken out yet. And Cardano, in my view, is one that hasn't broken out yet. What we need to bear in mind is that I spoke about the potential that Bitcoin could come down once more. There could be another sell-off for Bitcoin, and Cardano obviously hasn't come up yet. So it's a little bit behind, a bit like Ethereum, even though Ethereum is doing a little bit better than Cardano. But yeah, these haven't really shown that much strength as Bitcoin has done. Even though with the current Bitcoin structure, I'm not impressed by it. Even though we see these short-term price increases, which is good in the short term. So money is definitely there to be made. But I'm just a little bit skeptical in sort of the medium term. There could be the possibility to come down once more. And let's just hope that Cardano breaks out and gets a little bit of a cushion and a buffer between this ascending trend line and that move up. Because if Bitcoin goes down and Cardano stays at that level, then we could really break below that ascending trend line, and that wouldn't be good. Cardano is one of the few cryptos which is still hovering just above this ascending trend line here, and you can see this trend line in so many other crypto charts at the moment. And Cardano, as I said, is one of the few that haven't broken out yet. So we had a breakout here, pulled back to the trend line, which is totally normal. This is what happens on charts. You break out from a trend line, and then you have a pullback, and then you break out again, typically, because we are still in an uptrend. And we're still above the 200-day moving average. We are now hovering around the 20-day moving average, really. So yeah, it seems like Cardano is getting squeezed and squeezed more, and I would find it quite nice that if this is actually the valid triangle pattern, because that would indicate we get a breakout even sooner, which I think we're all waiting for. I think everybody's just waiting for some sort of breakout, because this is like the most horrible and boring development that can actually happen. We've pretty much traded sideways for 3 weeks now. It's just boring. But then on the other hand, why do financial markets need to be exciting? It's sometimes good to take the emotion out, but yeah, in crypto we want to see movement. That's what we want, movement, and ideally to the upside. So what's going to happen now? We're just trading within this pattern. The ascending with this higher support, resistance line is currently sitting at around 227. So if we break above that, I would expect us to get to the 232 level here, which is that critical one that we didn't manage to get through the last time. 232 we need to get above before we can then deal with other levels like 242 or 243 and 256, and then eventually 280, and from then on we could move to new all-time highs. If we lose that level here, which is currently at 213, and 213 was an important level before, we could so it's not 213, it's 216, 217. If we lose that, we could come down to 213, and then 203, and then even 190, right, or 191. These are the current support levels, and I did tell it to you before that in my view is still a possible scenario. It hasn't been invalidated yet, that Elliott Wave scenario, that we are still in an ABC, and you can come to different conclusions. That's totally fine. As you might remember, originally I thought that would have been the A wave, a B wave here, and a C wave down here. Since then, yes, admittedly, we have been moving up, but what now could be the case, because we haven't seen that bullish move, that we are still in an A, and now we are in this B. So we have completed the A here at the 190 level. We might still be in a B now, or we are forming the B now to the upside, and from then on we could come down once more deeper to a C correction at around, well, somewhere between the in this target range once more, maybe even as low as 145, before we then complete that third major uptrend wave to the upside to at least 450. That would be the target level based on the Fibonacci extension levels. And that's the update for now. I'm sure I'll keep you updated, and currently in that triangle which is holding us down a little bit. Keep you updated later today, and of course always if there are interesting developments. See you in the next video, and subscribe and hit the like button. Thank you. Bye bye.